Hello once again. This is a recap of last night's fights. First, to take the smaller ones, there was a couple quite surprising results. First of all, Brandon Figueroa versus Julio Ceja was ended in a draw, which I didn't expect. But Ceja, he came in overweight, so I guess that gave him a natural advantage of sorts. So now nobody gets. It was for the full WBA title, the bantamweight, super bantamweight. So now I guess a rematch must be is in order, I guess. But I don't know, since Ceja came in overweight, maybe not. Maybe Figueroa gets to fight someone else. Either way, nobody won, so nobody gets to be the full champion. And then there was a even bigger surprise. Andrew Cancio lost versus Rene Alvarado, but it was due to a cut. Yeah, he got cut in third round, so the fight was stopped in the seventh or after the seventh. It's kind of it's kind of a bummer. Yeah, I mean for Cancio, who was the champion, to lose his title this way, but he was also well behind on the scorecards, which was also an even bigger surprise. But this guy Rene Alvarado, he's always been kind of a dark horse. You never quite knew, whether he would win or lose in most of his fights, most of his recent fights. As I mentioned, he was favored to lose against Robinson Castellanos, and he stopped Castellanos, and now he was favored to lose this fight, but he pulled it off. He's a very tough fighter, and who's got power, and he's just that sort of like his countryman Ricardo Mayorga was. He's a never say die fighter, I guess, and but yeah, I would like to see a rematch. I think there will be, most likely, because any fight that ends with a cut because of a cut, and the champion is the loser, then usually it leads to a rematch. Maybe not immediate one, but anyway. Okay, yeah, and then the Callum Smith fight was the only one I actually saw last night. Yeah, that was another big surprise, because frankly I didn't know much about John Ryder before, and but I figured Smith would be able to knock him out uh, rather quickly, not too quickly, but it turns out Ryder is a very tough guy. He's only been stopped once, but that was, I don't know what happened. Maybe it was an injury or a cut. Most likely, it was some time ago anyway. But yeah, Ryder was very impressive. I mean, Smith kept struggling. Perhaps he's not used to fighting so short guys. I mean, this is super middleweight after all. It's mostly guys who are 5'11" and above. So this guy's 5'9", very tough guy, very strong. He kept pushing Smith to the ropes, and Smith just kept trying to nail it, but he failed. I mean, he would land 1-2s like, and then he landed one good shot, a clean shot to the head, had in round 6, and then in one of the later rounds, maybe round 10, he landed a 1-2, also kind of an uppercut. But aside from that, it was mostly body punches. Not mostly, it was only body punches that landed cleanly for Smith all night. Yeah, but Ryder just took them all and kept coming, and he hit Smith a lot, and but he just wasn't good enough to really capitalize on. Whenever he would drive Smith to the ropes, he would land 2, 3, 4 punches and then just hold on. And yeah. But anyway, it was a rather big disappointment because I expected Callum Smith to win this impressively. Since it's a domestic fight, and his opponent was never really that highly rated anyway. I mean, he did knock out Patrick Nielsen, who was at that time ranked at number 1 by the WBA. But aside from that, he doesn't have that many. He's already has before this fight he had, I believe, 5 losses, 4 or 5. So nobody really expected him to do so well against the new burgeoning star, Callum Smith. So yeah. Smith I kind of, maybe he should not try to challenge Canelo, because we are seeing now that he really isn't so effective against shorter guys, guys who are much shorter. He did well against Groves and Nurmagomedov, but they are not short guys. Anyway, Groves was winning actually the fight until he got caught and stopped in the 7th round. He was actually outboxing Smith for the most of the time. I think Smith may have won only 1 or 2 rounds before that knockout. So that I think Smith is more a guy that relies on really landing heavy shots and or just I mean, he's not really active enough, I would say. He just he's more like a puncher, who prefers to wait for that big punch and big combination, and that's not always gonna help you win fights. There are some guys that you just have to throw a lot against, and yeah. So it was the scorecards were way too wide, and yeah, quite ridiculous, because that fight was very close, very close. Smith may have won by 1 or 2 points, something like that. Yeah, but he won just by being more active. Those rounds that he won by being more active, rather than really hurting Ryder. Yeah, all right, and then that big fight, that big heavyweight fight. I actually didn't see it, but I heard what happened. I read, and all the sources agree that Ortiz was outboxing Wilder and winning the fight until he got caught in the 7th round. Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, with guys who are there to knock out Wilder, they leave themselves too open and unprotected for his big right hand, and especially guys like Ortiz that are not the fastest or may not have the best defense. They are more like destroyer type of fighters, punchers, yeah. But Ortiz, once again, Ortiz shows that Wilder is really nothing but a puncher. I mean, and he just can't box. So that's why Fury was so effective against him, and he can't take his best shots like he proved last time, last December. Yeah. So now I hope we get to see the Wilder Fury 2 next year. I believe they said March or February or March, I don't know. Yeah, I just hope that Fury hasn't spent too much of his prime on wrestling and doing other silly stuff like publicity stuff. His problem that he likes publicity too much simply, and he's a showman. He's a clown. So he, yeah. I'm afraid that may ruin a bit for him, but he still has perhaps the best chance to beat Wilder. But to do that, I hope. I don't think that fight should be in USA because the judges there will never give him, the victory unless he doesn't get knocked down this time. And especially if he doesn't almost get knocked out, like he did in the 12th round. Yeah, while the others, Joshua, Ruiz, and White, Parker, maybe, I don't actually see any of them beating Wilder. Maybe Joshua or Ruiz, I don't know really. Ruiz is a very fast guy, of course, but he too primarily goes in there to knock his guy out. So and Joshua, he just is too easy to hit. His defense is kind of leaky, and yeah, I just don't know. Fury, I guess for now looks. There are other younger guys like Daniel Dubois, for instance, and perhaps even Filip Hrgovic, but Hrgovic isn't that young, but he's rather new. So we'll see. It's of course Fury is now kind of getting on in age. Not Fury, but Wilder. He's like 34 or something. He will definitely lose. Unless he retires like next year. Yeah. So, alright, that was enough for this time. So, thanks for watching this and see you until next time. Bye bye.